let's talk about women's rights because that's really a big topic right now. Everybody's talking about it, and particularly um, abortion rights. And it's a complicated subject, and it used to be sort of taboo, but I think now with Dobbs, everyone's talking about it. So it's not, that's one good thing. It's not as taboo. But I've heard some stories. This story, I don't know if you heard it, it was the other day, a couple of days ago. Actually, it's two stories. One was when this one young lady, I think she had some kind of abortion, and then it was some kind of complication, and the doctors would um, not fix the complication because they are nervous about the interpretation of the law and if they could actually help her or not. So she sat around for like 20 hours, and the family's been all over the place. They were like talking to Oprah and on CNN. There was a mother and two daughters. So she had three of them all together, and she was the baby one, the one that died, and she already had a child. And they was talking about how she was saying, Mom, I'm in so much pain, something is wrong. And they were like, no, don't worry, they're going to help you, because, they trusted the doctor saying she'll be okay, we'll help her. And both of the sisters said that they, looked at her and she looked at them, and the way she looked at them, now they look back, they can tell she was thinking, I'm not going to see you, I'm dying, and this is the last time I'm going to see you, pretty much. And then she said to the mother, please promise to take care of my son. And the mother was like, no, baby, you're going to be okay, like trying to calm her down, thinking she was just being afraid. And she died. And the doctors, and they just found out recently, just now, I heard a few days or so before they start going public, because it happened, I think, a couple years ago, well, not a couple years ago, but soon after Dobbs or whatever. It's been a couple years since Dobbs, right? Whatever. It happened a while ago, but the problem is that the mother, they were trying to get the mother to speak about it. Publicly, she wouldn't, because she said she was mourning too much and she didn't want to talk to anybody about it. But they just recently found, after an investigation of it, that her death was totally preventable. That if they had just went in right away, she would have been fine. But because they were interpreting the law to say that they couldn't help her, because even fixing the botched abortion issue that she had was criminal possibly. So she died. And they said it was a misinterpretation of the law. That's what people are saying. So that's even crazier that it's a misinterpretation, they think. But the fact that, first of all, I'm an attorney. I don't get why, and I'm not trying to judge anybody, because I don't understand why there wasn't a lawyer on site
to interpret.
Yeah, read the heck out of that. If somebody is
or already had
exactly
done it,
and they understand it and making a decision, but obviously maybe the attorney did. And sometimes attorneys are paranoid and they put the fear of getting sued above everything else. But it seems like at some point somebody would say, look, we're going to just take a chance. As a lawyer, I felt like I would have been like, look, we're going to just have to fight it. If somebody tries to sue you, we want to fight it in court. Please take care of her. Don't wait till the last minute she dies. And guess what? You really can get sued. And now they were sitting there. I saw them on CNN with Benjamin Crump. So guess what?
Oh, no.
That means somebody gets sued anyway. So you should have just taken care of her, worry about the law later, and then at least you'd have been alive.
But here's the thing though. Benjamin Crump will sue them, and it'll be a malpractice issue.
True. But
whereas if they hadn't done the abortion thing, it would have been a criminal thing, and they would have been locked up in their freedom.
And that's what they would have been.
And that's sad. That's where our country is right now.
That's sad.
Not that I'm advocating abortion,
right?
But
it's the choice of it. I personally, I don't think I could ever have one. But I have no reason to judge anybody else. And I am a starch pro-choice person. Because no one has the right to tell anybody else what to do in their life and in their circumstances. Everybody's different. And I don't know, certain circumstances I may have too. I'm just saying, well, in theory, I don't think I would, but I want the right to be able to, even me, even though I'm past those years. But it's the principle that all girls should have that right to make their own decision. So I am pro-choice all the way and always has been. Always. So the fact that has been taken off the table and it is detrimental. The other story I heard was this one lady, she was like diabetic and had lupus and all kinds of stuff. And I guess she had an abortion. And she needed some help. They sent her home. And she died in the bed next to her 3-year-old son. Yeah. So she had other children. She died in the bed next to him. And because I guess the complications with the diabetes and everything, and the sending her home when she needed help. So I don't get how after, I need to read the law myself, and I haven't, and I may, but I don't understand what this interpretation is where after you have a procedure, they can't even help you afterwards. I don't understand that, so I really have to read it. But the bottom line is, we shouldn't be in a position where, in this day and age, with all the modern technology we have,
medicine and
I mean, it's one thing when doctors actually make mistakes in general, right? Because nobody's perfect. But to actually delay care or refuse care because of some legal technicality, that is really a sad thing to me. And to me, that has to be fixed, and that shouldn't be a partisan thing.
I know.
And it's not, to me, a religious thing, because, I heard somebody say,
why do you, please, for people who grew up in
religion, right?
Religion, like,
religious.
And they're like, you shall not kill. That is like,
and I got that, you should not kill, right?
So how do you feel that is not weighing in with that?
It's kind of like what I just said. You can personally say, I don't, it's not my religious belief to have abortion, right? I don't believe, personally. However, I also don't believe that the government has a right to change our free will. God doesn't interfere with our free will. Why does the government feel like it can interfere with our free will? That shouldn't be sanctioned by the government to interfere with your free will. It just shouldn't. That is what is happening. So you can say, okay, I personally won't have an abortion because that's not my religious belief. But I don't think the government has the right to step in and say you can't, because that's free will. That's between you and God. That's between you and God. My decision is my decision. Your decision is your decision, and we both have to account to God for that. The government has nothing to do with that. And so that's how I think people who are religious can see it, and not, sort of betray or turn their back on their own personal beliefs. That's how I see it. But because it's a complicated issue, and it's turning into a health issue, and women are dying from it.
And not able to have children.
Yeah.
Future children because of not having the right procedures at the time that could be implemented or done.
Because sometimes it's the medical issue is the reason they're getting an abortion in the first place. Mm-hmm. And if you don't fix it, then they can never have children again. When that's not what they wanted. They wanted to have that kid, but it didn't. Mm-hmm. That's not panning out.
Or not just have a kid, not have a life.
Right.
Like literally dying. Women in the car bleeding. I mean, I've heard horrible stories. And
it kind of reminds me of my great grandfather. I think I told you that, but my great grandfather and my great grandmother, they had 9 kids. I heard she had the first child. They told her she couldn't have any more. But this is before. They were born in 1800s, so this is before. They had all kinds of things, birth control and everything else. So she had 8 more kids, right? On the 9th, this is the 10th kid, right, all together. the doctor said we can't save both. We can save one or the other. And my great grandfather chose the child.
You did tell me that.
Yeah, I ended up being a single parent of 10 children. And then so that's something.
How did I forget? You told me this.
Yeah, that's a crazy story. By the time I found that out, he had passed. I thought, did I know? I don't think I knew he was alive still. He died when I was like
he was born in 1800s and you
18. Yeah, 18. Yeah, he was old when he died. My mom's family lived long.
Cause your grandma was 90.
Yeah, too.
92?
He was like 98 or something. He died.
Wow.
He was 1899. He was born.
Wow.
And he died when I was fairly young. I was like a teenager. But and I never talked to him. But I, as an adult, I always, I think about that. I'm like, I wonder what decision he made. But he was really religious man, so he may have made a decision out of religion, right? But it makes me think about the abortion issue, because that's the kind of decision people are kind of being faced with now, almost. You know what I mean? Because if the child is going to take your life, then you can't. And nowadays, to me, back then, it was a deep decision he made. Now, it's no decision because you just can't do it in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So the wife would just have to die. I mean, just be no option.
Yeah.
Taken off the table, she just had to die, and that's just it. I mean, I don't. Yeah.
I just didn't see that happening in 2024.
When I heard when people say, "Oh, that's gonna be overturned," and certain people get put in on the Supreme Court, I'm like, they're not gonna do that. I just really didn't think that. I thought it's been the law of the land for too many years.
Almost 50 years.
That's not gonna happen.
And it happened.
And it happened. I could not believe it happened. Could not believe that happened. And I don't believe. I think it should be.
What scares me is that now that it has happened, what will be the alternative for so many women or young women who find themselves in dire situations, or feel that they are in dire situations and they're afraid, they don't know what to do. What's going to be the alternative now that, I don't know. I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely scary. And it's not me personally. I'm way past that.
But I have a niece.
Yeah, right. And it's just women, period. The rights of women, period. You don't want to go backwards with rights. Rights are always going forward. Or at the very least, we remain and saying we shouldn't be going backwards with rights. That's going in the wrong direction. And if you want to stem abortion, then there's other ways to try to stem it. You can try to encourage young women to use. Well, we have more nowadays. We have a lot more advanced birth control than we were growing up. That stuff was making fat and everything else, right? And but now things are more advanced, so there's a lot of ways you can encourage that. And women, I think, are a lot. They can take care of themselves. You give them opportunity to take care of themselves for the most part. Not that things don't happen, but it's really arrogant to think that people feel like they should have to tell a woman how to live her life.
Yeah.
And it's not just affecting women; it affects men too.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like men got to sit there and watch their loved ones suffer, and the baby die because of a rule, because the government is saying no, you can't do that.
I just feel like there's some things the government just doesn't.
Yeah, and that's just the bottom line, and that's the bottom line. And hopefully, I'm hoping we can fix that, but we'll see. Anyway, okay, guys. Well, till next time.